Good Tuesday morning to everybody. Hope you are doing well. We are at the next game in the 1987 American League replay, game number 286. Second game on the May 24th, 1987 date, which was a Sunday in real world on May the 24th. We're in Milwaukee, where the singles are 1-6, home runs are 1-5, both lefties and righties. Cleveland Indians and the Milwaukee Brewers. Cleveland in last place, 16-26. Milwaukee at first place, 26-12. So the prototypical first place against last place teams. Actually, in real world, Cleveland won this game 5-3 on this date in real world. So they were able to get to Higuera and got the win. Higuera comes to this game 4-3. Ken Schrom comes to the game 2-3. They both have symmetrical wild pitch and balk ratings. Higuera has 3-3. Schrom has 5-5. So that's the lead up for this. Hello, Sean. Good to see you. Teddy Higuera, real world, was 18-10. Of course, in the replay, he is 4-3. And he's got an ERA of 3.80. He was 3.85 real world, so he's doing right on time. 64 innings pitched, 62 hits, 22 walks, and 65 strikeouts. So we're just about ready to get going here. Brett Butler will be the leadoff man for the Cleveland Indians. One roster note to make for the Milwaukee Brewers. They sent down Billy Joe Robideau, and they have called up switch hitting outfielder Mike Felder, and he will actually be leading off in this game for Milwaukee. So Mike Felder had 289 at bats in the 87 season, 266 average. Mike Felder, he can run though. Look at that double A stealing 6-8, runs at a 17. Good range. Not necessarily the best fielder in the world, but decent range. But he's on there because he can run. And speaking of running, Brett Butler is up. He can definitely run. Looking at Brett Butler's numbers on the replay. Butler is hitting .409, but he does not have enough at-bats to qualify for the league lead because he was out for quite some time. So that .409 average is great, but it doesn't put him in the league lead. He has also stolen 12 bases, got caught 5 times. In real world, he stole 13, got caught. Real world stole 33, got caught 16. So Brett Butler will lead things off. And, of course, the obligatory tools of the trade for a morning game is the cup of coffee, which is, like I said, is not, can't do it without it. Well, I could, it just wouldn't be as good. Would not be as good for me anyway. I don't know about anybody else, but definitely wouldn't be as good for me if that were the case. All right, so we are set to get going. Yep, it's like I said, Sean, it's mandatory stuff. This is actually my third cup, so it's going to be my third and last cup of the day. All right, so Brett Butler steps in against Teddy Higuera. This is a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Runned away from Milwaukee, 3-8 left-handed. That's a 1-5 single. That's an 18, though, so he will line it to second. And there's one away. And that'll bring up Julio Franco, the shortstop. Franco hitting .299 on the replay. 2 homers, 23 driven in. He at .319 real world. It's a 6-8, and that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Higuera. First of probably many, because he was pretty good at striking guys out. Struck out 240 in the real season. So here's Pat Tabler's designated hitter. He's hitting .357 on the replay. 4 homers, 26 driven in. He at .307 real world. 5-3. Ground ball first base C. So that's one where Brock will take it and flip to Higuera covering. And that's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Teddy Higuera and the Brewers, as that will dispatch Cleveland pretty quickly. We go to the bottom of the first. Ken Schrom is your starting pitcher. He was 6-13 with a .650 earned run average. Real World definitely had a bad year. Had a pretty good year in 86, but 87 was not a good year for him. In the replay, though, he's doing a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit better. He's 2-3 with a 577 earned run average. 48 innings pitched, 54 hits. But the bad part for him is 28 walks and only 14 strikeouts. So when your walks are twice as many as your strikeouts, that's not going to lead to the best of seasons, I wouldn't think. So Mike Felder getting his first call up, first start of the season. See what he can do here against Schrom. Felder is a switch hitter batting left-handed. It's a 1-7, and he's going to fly to center field for Brett Butler to put away. One down. So Felder flies out. Here's Robin Yount. Good thing for the Brewers, in 2 more days, on May the 26th, Paul Molitor will be back from injury. So they're chomping at the bit to get Paul Molitor back. They've been missing him, although they've held their own and kept first place in Real World. This is the month that May was the month they kind of did a swan dive and kind of swooned a little bit. But in this replay, they've held their own and maintained first place. So here's Yount. He's hitting 312 on the replay, 8 homers, 33 runs driven in. And oh, by the way, he hit 312 Real World. So Stratomatic was right on it for that. Here's Robin Yount. 6-6, and that's going to be a double to center field for Yount. 1-out double for Robin Yount. He's aboard for Cecil Cooper, the designated hitter. Cooper hitting 244 on the replay, 5 homers, 14 driven in. He hit 248 Real World. Nothing on the Havoc. Here is Cooper. Whoa, we got a hop and dice. I don't know why the dice want to hop so much out of here. 1-5 for Cooper, and that's a ground ball to first. That'll get the runner to third. But now there are 2 outs. So Joe Carter takes it the bag himself, but the runner does advance to third, and Yount. And that brings up Rob Deer in a clutch situation, and Deer will gain a hit on 3-2. At strikeout turns to a hit in the clutch. So we'll see if he can get anything done. But look at his column 1 and column 3 against right-handers, loaded with strikeouts. Of course, there's a reason for that. He struck out 186 times in the 87 season, so there's a reason for it. 6-6, though, it's the same thing that Yount got. That 6-6 on Schrom is another double. RBI double for Rob Deer. 1-0 Brewers. That's twice we've hit the 6-6 roll in 4 at-bats. And that's Ken Schrom paying the price. Brewers lead at 1-0. Here's Greg Brock. Brock hitting 333 on the replay. 4 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 299 Real World. Schrom against the lefty Brock. 6-11. Ground ball pitcher X. Ground ball pitcher X. Schrom is a 1 on his fielding. Actually, no, he's a 4. I don't know why somebody told me that's the he's a 4 on his fielding, and he's an E10. So 4 E10. 4 and a 4. Devil Die strikes again. 4 and a 4 for a pitcher. That's almost assuredly a single 2 stars, you would think. No, it's only a single 1 star. How about that? 4 and a 4 is a single 1 star. That's a 10, and he's an E10, so I don't think there's any problem there. There is not, but it's only 1 star. So going to third is Deer, but he cannot score on that single. So runners at the corners, 2 down for B.J. Surhoff, catcher. Surhoff is hitting 306 on the replay, 2 homers, 9 driven in. He hit 299 Real World. Hello, Jeff. Good to see you. And as usual, have my coffee all ready to go. It's like the American Express card. I don't leave downstairs without it. 6-7, and that's a lefty. That's a 1-17 single, and that'll be a base hit. RBI single for Surhoff. Deer scores. It's 2-0 Brewers. Keep in mind, Milwaukee won this game Real World 5-3. Play hitting 293, no homers, 7 driven in. He at 272 Real World. That's a 1. Schrom's wild pitch rating is a 5. And that's a 2, so he'll uncork one. And that'll move both runners into scoring position. Second and third. Gantner will lose a hit on 110 in the clutch. He's anti-clutch on the 110 result. For 8, though, is going to be a ballpark blast. Ballpark blast, it's 1-5, but that's a 7. So Gantner will just fly to right field to end the inning. But the Brewers pick up 2 runs here in the bottom of the first, and they lead Cleveland 2-0 as we head to the second inning of play here at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Joe Carter will lead off against Teddy Higuera. Carter on the replay is probably the worst replay player in this replay is Joe Carter as far as underperforming. He's in real world, he hit 264 with 32 home runs. In the replay, he's hitting 184 with only 7 home runs so far. So definitely underperforming. But it's still just May, so I mean he's got plenty of time to turn it around. But all right, 4-11 is a fly ball right field X. Right fielder for the Brewers is Rob Deere. Deere's in right field. He's a 3E10. 3E10. 3-15 is okay. E10 and an 8 shouldn't be a problem, you wouldn't think. Nope, no 8 there, so it's good play for Rob Deere. Deere normally has been playing left field all season, but with Felder coming on, they moved Deere to right field and put Felder in left. All right, here's Carmen Castillo. He is the right fielder in this game. Hello, Chuck. And Carmen Castillo is hitting 256 in the replay. 2 homers, 6 driven in. He hit 250 real world. 5-8 struck him out. Strikeout number 2 for Teddy Higuera. And tonight, the Demolition League somebody asked me if I had abandoned the Demolition League project just because I was off for a couple days from playing it. But no, I have not. It'll be back tonight, roughly around 9 o'clock. All right, here's Brooke Jacoby hitting 338, 5 homers, 23 driven in on the replay. Hit 300 real world. 4-8 against the right-hander, struck him out again. So Teddy Higuera's 3rd strikeout. Dispatches Cleveland 1-2-3. Top of the second. Go to the bottom of the second. Still 2-0 Brouhaha's. And it'll be Juan Castillo, the second baseman, due up. Hello, Triple G. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this game was played May 24th. May 26th, Paul Molitor will return to the Brewers. So they've been waiting for him to come off the injured list, disabled list, and he will return on the May 26th date. I believe they play Oakland. Sounds good, Kathy. Got my coffee right here for you. All right, here's Juan Castillo. 207 on the replay. No homer, 7 driven in. He hit 224 real world. 211, and that is a fly to center. Hauled in by Butler, 1 away. For Dale Swain, the shortstop. Swain is hitting 318. 8 homers, 27 driven in. He hit 252 real world. 6'10", switch hitter batting left. 6'10" is a ground ball third base X. Brooke Jacoby, 4E25. So he needs a good roll in the double die. And he gets it 4-16, but the D6s might be a problem. That's a total of 14, and he is an E25. So we'll check it. E25. No, he escapes. 13, 15, and 17 were errors, but not 14. So Brooke Jacoby, a tough hop, but able to handle it. For out number 2. Takes us back to the top of the order from Mike Felder. 2-5, and that's a pop up to second. So a much easier inning for Ken Schrom. As he goes 1-2-3 in the second. We go to the third. Still 2-0 Brew Crew. And Higuera back out. Facing Corey Snyder. Snyder, the left fielder, usually plays right field, but playing left field in this game. He's hitting 239 on the replay, 5 homers, 18 driven in. He hit 236 real world. 4-8, and that's another strikeout. Boy, that's the third time. I think that's the third time in a row I've rolled 4-8 for Higuera. He's hit that strikeout 3 times in a row. So Snyder is gone, and here's Tony Bernazard, second baseman, hitting 220 on the replay, 4 homers, 19 driven in. He at 250 real world. 4-7, right-handed. Ground ball set. Almost got that 4-8 again. 4-7 is ground ball second base X. That is Castillo. 3 E21. 3 and 12, he'll get to it. E21 and a 12 shouldn't be much of a problem, I wouldn't think. The 13 is a problem, but not 12. So 12 is going to be okay. And Castillo will handle it. 2 down. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, longtime Oriole catcher Rick Dempsey, finishing his career here. And then actually next year he goes to Los Angeles and wins a World Series with the Dodgers. But it's his first year removed from the Orioles. He's hitting 236 on the replay, a homer and 11 driven in. He only hit 177 real world. 1-9, and he's going to pop it up to first, and that's going to end the inning. So 9 up and 9 down for Teddy Higuera through the first 3 innings, as the Tribe giving him very little resistance. We go to the bottom of the third, still 2-0. And Mr. Robin Yount will lead things off. Yount he doubled and scored his first time up. 2-8, and this time he'll fly it to center. Again, fielded out there by Brett Butler. Third put out for Butler in center field in 3 innings. Here's Cooper. 2-7, he's going to strike out. That's the first strikeout for Schrom. 2 down. And that'll take us to Rob Deere. Deere had an RBI double his first chance. First chance up, that RBI double. As he found that 6-6. 2 guy, Yount and Deere both found 6-6 in the first inning and got doubles out of it. This was a 5-6, not a 6-6. 5-6, a big different story. It's a fly ball to right field. Hauled in out there by Castillo to retire the side. So Schrom has settled in since that first inning. No problems whatsoever. He seemed to have found whatever he was missing before from the first inning, but he has definitely improved on that. All right, so now if you would give your attention to Miss Kathy, she has a trivia question for us. Question number 1 here in the top of the 4th. Get your thinking caps on, and we'll stand by. The 81 Dodgers had 3 players tie for World Series MVP. Remember, 2 out of 3 isn't bad, as Meatloaf would say. So who do you think are the three guys that tied for MVP? I can make guesses, but I'll leave it to the chat to see what you guys want to do. If you guys have any guesses at all. If not, I'll throw out a guess myself, but I was going to guess Valenzuela, Garvey, and Say, but that probably is wrong. And Midlife says Guerrero, Say, and Yeager. So we have 2 votes for Say. And who knows, Say probably is wrong. Who knows? Oh, Midlife said, Tim says Midlife got it. So let's see, Guerrero, Say, and Yeager. Is that it? Kathy will let us know officially. See if Midlife gets the, I don't have a Mike's Ikes or whatever those other things that Jeff used to have. Mike's Hots or whatever they call those things. I don't have any of those. Just an attaboy is all we can give you. If you get it right, is an attaboy. It's the best I can do for you. Waiting for Kathy to confirm. Hello, Tony. Good to see you. Good thing. Yep. Got it right here. No doubt about it. No, saying Guerrero are 2. Okay. So you're saying Yeager is not one of the ones. Okay. Saying Guerrero. Maybe Dusty Baker. I don't think it would be Dusty Baker, though. Oh, Yeager. Okay. So it is all 3. Say Guerrero and Yeager. Okay, cool. All right. Say Guerrero and Yeager. Sounds like a bad law firm. All right. Here is Teddy Higuera back out. Start at the top of the 4th, facing Brett Butler, who got the line to second his first time up. 2-2 for Butler. He's going to foul it out to the catcher, Surhoff, on that 2-2 result. So he fouls it up to the catcher, 1 away. That'll bring up Julio Franco. He struck out his first chance, 1 of 4 strikeouts for Higuera. 1-8, and that's going to be a single to right field. So there goes the no-hitter here in the 4th inning. Julio Franco with a 1-out single. All right. That's Tim. Are you talking about Schilling and Johnson from Arizona in 2001? Is that the one you're referring to? Did they win co-MVP in the 2001 World Series? Seemed like they should have, because they kind of dominated it. I mean, that was their whole team, basically, was those 2 pitchers. Without them pitching, they didn't win. I don't think they won a single game. All right, here's Pat Tabler. Well, first havoc roll of the game for Higuera. He hasn't had to because nobody's been on base. 4-9, right-handed. That's a walk. So now all of a sudden, Cleveland has 2 aboard with nobody out. 9 runs are on base for Joe Carter, if Joe Carter can ever do anything. His struggles have been documented all season long in this replay. 2-6, and he's still going to struggle. Ground ball, shortstop B, fielder's choice. They will retire Tabler at second. Going to third is Franco. So Franco goes to third on the fielder's choice. Carter safe at first base. Tabler out at second. Carter could try to steal. Higuera -1. But Carter's going to try to get the lead here. Needs a 2 through 5. He does not get it, so he will hold. That'll bring up Carmen Castillo. Struck out his first chance. Infield for the Brewers is playing back for the double play. 6-10, and that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Yount. He's a 2 E6. So this could at least be a sacrifice fly. And with a 9, it's almost guaranteed to be a sacrifice fly. 2 and a 9 is going to be an F2, almost guaranteed. And it is. That's a sacrifice fly. That's a 14. He's an E6. E6, there's a 15, but no 14. So it will be a sacrifice fly for Carmen Castillo. And it brings home Julio Franco to cut the lead to 2-1. 2-1 ball game now with 2 outs. And Brooke Jacoby, the batter. In the clutch against the lefties, Jacoby will lose a hit on 1-10, and he'll lose a hit on 2-5. Jacoby, 4-4, struck him out. That is strikeout number 5 for Higuera. But the Cleveland Indians pull within a run of the Milwaukee Brewers, thanks to a sacrifice fly from Carmen Castillo. Go to the bottom of the 4th. Now 2-1 Brewers. And we have a question top of the 6th for Kathy. So be ready for that when that comes around. All right, here's Greg Brock. 6-9 against the lefty. Ground ball to second. Handled by Bernazard. 1 away. Brings up B.J. Surhoff, the catcher. Surhoff singled his first time up. 6-9, and he's going to do the same thing, ground to second, consecutive rolls. I used to have a home rule. I don't do it anymore, but I used to have a home brew. If I rolled the same thing twice, I re-rolled again because I didn't like rolling the same thing twice. But I'm like, okay, if the dice are going to come out that way, we'll just call it random chance. All right, so let's see here. What's going on here? I got something wrong with my computer. Let's fix this here. Something didn't get entered correctly on my computer because I'm out of sync on the paper score sheet and the computer score sheet. So let's see what's going on here. This may have gone back to all right, so Brock grounded out to second. So let me make sure I got that right. Brock grounded out to second base to start the fourth. Surhoff grounded out to second base. And now Gantner is up. Okay, I'm not sure why I thought I was out of sorts there, but apparently I was not. I was right in sync and something just didn't look right, but it's always good to verify. 5-8, fly ball to center. That's going to end the inning. So we go to the fifth, still 2-1, favor the Brewers. Expecting more runs against Ken Schrom because he's had a rough year. He had a rough 1987 real world, but he's holding his own after that rough first inning. So Corey Snyder, but first some coffee before it gets cold. Corey Snyder is up. And in case somebody came in late, Mike Felder was called up by the Brewers. And sent down was Billy Joe Robideau. So we don't have Billy Joe Robideau to beat around anymore, at least not for a while. So Snyder, 3-5 against the lefty. That's a solid double for Corey Snyder. Start the inning with a solid leadoff double. Now, wait a minute. Why is Jacoby up there? That's what's throwing me off here. You know what? I think I gave the... Hold on. Hold the phone here, folks. I see where the problem is. I see exactly where the problem is. The Cleveland Indians should not have scored that run. There were 2 outs when Castillo flied to center field, so that should not have been a sacrifice fly. I went to fix it on the computer. That's what I knew. There was something rotten in Denmark, and I couldn't figure out what it was, but now I just realized it. Took me a while to realize it, but this will be changed to a. And I'm going to have to. I'm not going to do it now because it'll take too much time. I'll fix it later on the computer. But there was no run there. No run there whatsoever. Because Butler fouled out to the catcher. There was a fielder's choice getting Tabler out. So when Castillo flied to center, that was not a sacrifice fly. That was the 3rd out. That's what was throwing me off. So it should have been Jacoby batting. So the double for Snyder is also not there. So we will cancel that out as well. And I'm just not even going to play the game on the computer anymore because it's out of sync. I'm going to have to fix it after the fact. And I don't want to tie up well, you know what? I might be able to do it. Let me see if I can do this undo real quick. Thank goodness for the undo button on the Stratomatic computer. If anybody has a Stratomatic computer and does manual entry of a game they played on dice, cards and dice, they can probably relate to my love of the undo button. And you can keep undoing as far back as you want. You just have to click it every time. You can't say I want to undo a whole inning at one time. You have to do it one at a time. All right, so Castillo flied to center, and now we're back in business. Okay, now I can do the ground out to second. This happens sometimes when I'm trying to score on the paper and on the computer and stream at the same time. All right, so now we're set. Now Jacoby's at bat. Okay. Hello, Jeremiah. Now everything is official and back to the way it should be. It is a 2-0 ball game, top of the 5th. It is actually Brooke Jacoby at the plate, facing Higuera. That's a 1-6, and he's going to get a triple 1-2, but anything else he flies to left, to fly out to left field. Jacoby is retired. Here's Corey Snyder. for 3, and that is a fly ball left field X. That's Felder. He's a 2E11. 2 and a 5. That'll be iffy, but I think he'll get to it. 2 and a 5 he will, and that is a 12, and he is an E11. There's a 13, but no 12, so Felder will get to it. Back-to-back flyouts to left field to start the 5th. Brings up Tony Bernazard. Biggest thing is getting this accurate. I want to make sure I got it right. It was a little hiccup there, but at least we got it right. In the long run, that's all that matters. 3-8 against the lefty is a ground ball to third, and that's going to do it. 1-2-3 inning. So Higuera maintains the shutout after further review. And now we go to the bottom of the 5th. Don't forget, Kathy Harden has a trivia question top 6, so be ready for that. Get your thinking caps on in advance so that you can maybe get tuned in on what kind of trivia might be coming. Here is Castillo, I should say. 3-5, and he will ground to second. Bernazard is there, 1 away. Takes us to Dale Swain, number 9 hitter. 3-5, and that's a 1-2 triple. 3-20 is a double. So 1-out double for Dale Swain. He gets himself a base hit, gets in scoring position for Mike Felder. Felder is 0 for 2. Fly to center and pop to second. Hold on. Let me see something here. I'm not sure what that means, Colin. Flagged YouTube featured. I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean they're promoting it or something? Is that what that's supposed to mean? I don't know the terminology on a lot of these things. I'm sorry. But hopefully it's a good thing. Hopefully it's not flagged because of something I did. Because I don't remember doing anything to be flagged. Hope not, anyway. All right, here is Ken Schrom to Felder. 3-8, and that's going to be a pop-up to short. That is out number 2. As Franco puts it away. And Felder 0 for 3 in his debut. Brings up Robin Yount in a clutch situation. In the clutch for Yount, he is completely neutral. He has no effect on the clutch, according to his card. 3-4 is going to be a ground ball to short, and Franco will handle that as well. So the 1-out double by Swain doesn't come to any fruition of runs for the Brew Crew. And at the end of 5 complete, it is still Milwaukee 2 and Cleveland nothing. And now if you would turn your attention to Miss Harden, she has a trivia question for us to start before we start the top of the 6th. So put your thinking caps on for that while I sip some more coffee. In early 60s, this team had a mechanical rabbit that popped up behind home plate and gave the umpire the baseballs. Okay, interesting. In the 1960s, without, and it's probably wrong, but just knowing the guy, Bill Veeck, I'm not sure if he was with Cleveland or Chicago White Sox back then, but he used to do all kind of wacky stuff, so that wouldn't surprise me. Charlie Finley wouldn't surprise me, the Kansas City A's, because like Midlife says, because Charlie Finley was weird. And they were bad teams, so they probably needed something to boost interest. So I'm kind of along with Midlife. I kind of agree with Midlife on that one. All right, Midlife, you got it. Cool. All right, Kansas City A's. Good question, Kathy. Well, that's awesome, Colin. I don't know why they're promoting it, but if they are, that's wonderful. Expose more people to Stratomatic. All right. Yeah, Jeremiah, I used to love seeing the the old golf carts when they bring that. I miss days. I miss that and stirrup socks. Those are two things back in the day that I missed in baseball. Used to love. When I was playing Little League, my favorite thing about playing Little League was putting my stirrup socks on. It was just cool to me. I don't know why. Just to a 8, 9-year-old kid, it was cool. So Harvey, all right. The name was Harvey. Okay, he even named it. That's pretty cool. How about that? They even named it. Interesting. All right, so top of the 6th we go. Rick Dempsey. My typical house rule is I don't pinch hit for anybody unless there's a pitching change before the 7th inning. So since we're in the 6th inning, Rick Dempsey will get the bat. Will not be pinch hit for. 6-9, and he's going to ground to second. Castillo puts it away, 1 away. Back to the top of the order for Brett Butler. Butler 0 for 2. 4-6, and that is a single, 2 stars. Not anybody on base, so it doesn't matter about the stars, but it's a base hit for Butler. And, of course, he's looking to get the lead. Needs a 2 through 8 or a 12 to get the lead. And he gets the lead, so he's going to go 15 being held to 13, minus 1's a 12. So 1 to 12, 60% chance to get in scoring position. And he's in there, and it's a possible throwing error on Surhoff. He's a T11. And he does throw it away, so it's a stolen base and an E2 on the same play. So try being aggressive, trying to get something started. Their offense was stagnant, so a lot of people wouldn't have sent Brett Butler to steal. They're down 2-0 in the 6th inning, but I'm not a lot of people, so I steal the bases when I can, and in certain cases you get caught, but in certain cases you benefit by forcing the defense into an error. So now runners at third base with 1 out for Julio Franco. Infield's going to play back, though. They're ahead 2-0, so they want to knock down anything in the infield. 1-9 for Franco. It doesn't matter. He's going to hit a single. It's a base hit, and that's going to put the Tribe on the board. And Cleveland saying, take this run away from us now, why don't you? So 2-1 game now for real as Julio Franco is aboard. And he's going to be looking to get the lead, 2 through 5. He gets the lead. He's going to go 19, being held to 17, minus 1's a 16, 1 to 16. And he's in there, stolen base. Julio Franco. Now the tying run is in scoring position with only 1 out, and Pat Tabler, the batter, starting to put some pressure on Higuera. That's a 1 for a wild pitch chance. He's a 3 wild pitch rating. Does not throw the wild pitch, so Tabler will stand pat, or stay in the plate. Franco will stay where he is. 3-5, and that is a single 1 to 18. So it's a single, only 1 star, but it's going to put runners on the corners. And don't count the Tribe out just yet. They won this game real world 5-3. So, but here comes Joe Carter. Talk about if they ever needed Joe Carter to come through to get back to his normal routine and start hitting the ball. This is it right here. Tabler's, that's a 1. Another chance for a wild pitch, 1-3. No wild pitch. Infield is back for the double play. Tabler not being held at first. 3-7, and that's a strikeout. Boy, Joe Carter doing Joe Carter things in this replay. Striking out at the worst time. And that really takes a lot of the pressure off of Higuera, because now with 2 outs, you don't have to worry about turning a double play or anything. You just need the 1 out. Here's Castillo. Clutch situation for Castillo. He loses a hit on 2-10. That's a 5-8, and that'll be a strikeout for Higuera to end the inning. He comes back with 2 strikeouts. So a run comes across thanks to the throwing error by Surhoff. But I'm looking at Franco. It's hard to say if that run would be earned or unearned, because if he was still at second base, actually the single by Tabler would have scored him anyway. So that run is actually earned. Even with the error, the run is still earned because it would have scored anyway. So we go to the bottom of the 6th with the score now 2-1. Schrom, the 5th inning was his fatigue inning. He only gave up a double, so he's got some juice still left. And Cecil Cooper, your batter. 6-10, left-handed. Ground ball, third base X. We're looking at Jacoby. 4E25. 4-15. He'll get to it. E25 and a 13. E25 and it's a 13 right there. So Brooke Jacoby will boot it. Error on Jacoby. Now each team has committed an error. And that'll bring up Rob Deere. Cooper not being held, obviously. 5-6 is a fly ball to right field. And Castillo will put that away. So 1 away now for Greg Brock. 4-7. That's a 1-4 triple. 5-20 will be a single. That's a single, 2 stars. And that will move Cooper to third base. So runners are on the corners with 1 out, and Schrom on the verge of fatigue. But I'll tell you what, that Cleveland bullpen is just so bad. Let's see who they've got that they could turn to. Maybe Scott Bales. He pitched this game real world. They may go with Scherhoff coming up a lefty and Gantner a lefty. They're going to make the move right here. Ken Schrom will be replaced, and Scott Bales. We'll see if he can bail him out. I believe Bales actually got the save in this game, real world maybe, but I know he pitched in it. He was 7-8 with a 4.64 ERA, real world. -4 on the hold, makes him a -3. We'll get the numbers on Schrom after the inning is over. On the replay, Bales is 2-4 with a save, 6.28 earned run average, 39 innings pitched, 49 hits, 12 walks, 21 strikeouts. Infield is in for B.J. Scherhoff's at bat. Infield is in. They don't trust being able to turn the double play, so they're going to play the infield in. Lefty on lefty matchup. There's a lot of ground ball A's on his card. There's 1 A+ right there with that 2-7, but I'm not trying to play the system. I'm just trying to play it like I think they would play it. And to me, they would play the infield in, being down by 1. 2-6. Boy, we just missed that 2-7. 2-6 is a ground ball first base A, so it would have been a double play to end the inning had we played back. But if you get a B in the score, then they say, why'd you play back? So ground ball first base A, that's going to be 3 unassisted with the runner holding and the runner on first going to second. So, would have been woulda, coulda, shoulda, would have been a double play, but you don't know that. You roll it on you play back and you roll a ground ball B, and then people are going to wonder why you didn't play in. So, anyway, here's Gantner in a clutch situation, and again, he loses a hit on a 110 against lefties. 3-6, and he will ground to first to end the inning. So Bales gets 2 ground balls to first base to bail out Ken Schrom and the Indians. And at the end of 6, it's still just a 2-1 ball game. So Scott Bales does his job. And now we can get the full numbers on Schrom since the inning is finished. The full details on Schrom, he goes 5 1/3 innings. He's going to give up 6 hits and 2 runs. They were both earned and all in the first inning. No walks and 1 strikeout. Okay, so now we're ready for the top of the 7th, and this is the fatigue inning for Teddy Higuera, so we'll keep an eye on him. He's got that number 7 on his card. It'll be Jacoby, Snyder, and Bernazar due up for the Tribe. 4-9, and that is a leadoff walk. Not a good thing to do if you're trying to protect the lead, is to walk the leadoff man. So the second walk of the game by Higuera to go along with his 6 strikeouts. Jacoby, no threat to run. Here's Corey Snyder. Snyder, no threat to bunt with a D bunt rating. 6-8 is a strikeout. Strikeout number 7 for Higuera. Will take us to Bernazard. 0 for 2. 6-5, switch hitter batting right-handed. Struck him out. Strikeout number 8 for Higuera. Now, do they pinch hit for Dempsey or not? Chris Bando's the backup catcher. He could come in and catch. Let's look at their bench. The best pinch hitter is a lefty, Mel Hall. So they got Andre Thornton on the bench, but he's terrible. He is really, really bad. But if you think about it, the manager in Cleveland at the time, and that would be a combination of Pat Corrales and Doc Edwards. I think it was Pat Corrales still at this point. Did not know that Thornton sucked. So they're going to bring in Andre Thornton to pinch hit. He hit 118 in real world and 85 at bats. So I'm going to play it like I think they would have played it in 1987. And Chris Bando will come in and catch. So we're going to have Thornton pinch hit here in the 7th. And we're going to have Bando catch in the 7th. So Andre Thornton going to pinch hit for Rick Dempsey. Dempsey was 0 for 2. So he is going to leave the game. And Andre Thornton. Thornton on the replay is hitting 255 at bats. So he's not too bad. No homers and a run driven in. So he's done better on the replay than he has in real world. Higuera pitching to Thornton. That's a 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That'll be Swain, 3E25. 3 and 18, he'll get to that. E25 and a 14. E25, the 13 is there, but not a 14, so it's good play for Swain, and that's going to end the inning. And that would have been the same result had Dempsey stayed in the game, so it really didn't matter at this point. So now Chris Bando will come in and catch the rest of the game. And Bando is a +1 arm, same as Dempsey, so the -3 still holds for Bales. Higuera only gave up a walk, so he will continue to the 8th inning. Still has endurance. Bales only faced 2 batters, got them both out, so he's definitely not going anywhere. He's going to definitely pitch the bottom of the 7th. We are at the 7th inning stretch, but I want to keep it going without taking a break. So coming into the game to catch is Chris Bando. And it'll be Bales facing Castillo, Swain, and Felder. 3 switch hitters for the Brewers. .410, right-handed, struck him out. So Bales gets the strikeout for Dale Swain. 5-11, and that's a ballpark blast on a 5-11. It's a 1-5. That's a 2. It's gone. Dale Swain greets Scott Bales. Look at it again. 5-11 is the ballpark blast. He has normal power against lefties. The ballpark home runs are 1-5. Double dies a 2. So Dale Swain hits his 9th home run of the season. He hit 25 real world. This is his 9th of the season. And RBI number 28 for Swain. And the Brewers now lead it 3-1. 3-1. And Mike Felder back up. Felder's 0 for 3. 4-7. Switch hitter batting right-handed is a ground ball second base X. Bernazard, 4E22. 4-4. Devil Die shows up again. 4-4 will be a base hit. 4-4 is a base hit. That's a 14, and he is an E22. E22, there's a 12, 17, and 18, but no 14. But it will be a single for Mike Felder, his first hit of the replay. For Mike Felder, and he's looking to run. 6, 7, or 8 gets him the lead. That's 7. He's going to go. 19 being held to 17. Minus 3 is a 14. 1 to 14. And he got thrown out. So Chris Bando throws him out as Bernazard put on the tag, but they're up 3 to 1, kind of playing with house money. So not a big deal there. 2 down for Robin Yount. 6-9, and that's a walk. 2-out walk to Yount. Yount has a chance to get the lead, 5 or a 6. Does not get the lead. He will hold for Cecil Cooper. Do they pinch hit for Cecil Cooper? He had 32% of his at-bats against lefties, so they let him pitch or let him stay in the game against lefties quite a bit. 4-6, and that's a strikeout for Bales to end the inning. But a home run from Dale Swain gives the Brew Crew a 3-1 lead as we head into the top of the 8th, and the third trivia question from Kathy. So watch your comment screen and chime in when you know the answer. What cartoon character has a girlfriend named Petunia? That's Pepe Le Pew, isn't it? No, wait a minute. No, Petunia. That's Porky Pig. Isn't it Petunia Pig? I want to say Porky Pig had Petunia Pig. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. But I'm thinking it was Porky Pig. Because I remember Petunia Pig. I remember there being a character named Petunia Pig. Boris had Natasha. Petunia, Porky Pig, there you go. Porky Pig. I remember his most famous, I can't do the Mel Blanc impersonation, but the exaggerated that's all folks is all I remember from Porky Pig. But I do remember Petunia Pig. All right, top of the 8th we go. I didn't know Underdog had a girlfriend. Polly Purebred. I wasn't that big into Underdog, so I don't know what his parameters were. All right, here's Brett Butler against Higuera. 5-8. That's another strikeout. Strikeout number 9 for Teddy Higuera. Here's Julio Franco. Higuera rejuvenated by that extra insurance run. 2-12 for Franco is a ground ball to short. Swain's got it, 2 down. And that'll send us to Pat Tabler. 1-9, and that's a ground ball to short as well. Swain will take care of that. So Higuera will keep endurance into the 9th. They're going to go ahead and let him finish the game. They'll have Dan Plesac on standby just in case, but I think they're going to have every intention of letting Higuera finish what he started. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Thank you, Kathy, for all those trivia questions. 3 interesting questions. Very, very good. Here's Rob Deere. 4-2, and that's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Castillo. 4E15. E15 is very high for an outfielder. 4 and a 6 is even questionable for an outfielder. 4 and a 6 is a single. That's a 14, and he is an E15. E15, there's a 14 right there, so it's a single and a 2-base error on Castillo. That's going to put Deere at third base. So we have a single plus a 2-base error on Castillo. And that's going to put Scott Bales in a bind here with nobody out and a runner at third. The infield's going to have to be in. Here's Greg Brock. Lefty on lefty matchup. The only thing Bales has going for him is lefty against lefty for the next 3 batters. It's a 2-10. And that is a ballpark single check, 1-6. Devil dies a 5. Boy, Cleveland just can't buy a break. That's instead of a line out, it's going to be a base hit. That will score the run and make it 4-1 Milwaukee. And that'll bring up Surhoff. And Tribe going to stay with Bales. No sense bringing anybody else right now. 3-4, and that's a line out to short. Out number 1. Brings up Jimmy Gantner. Gantner. 5-7, lefty on lefty is a ground ball, second base X. That's Bernazard, 4E22. But you see these 3-4s stick out like a sore thumb on their fielding. 4 and an E22. This time Devil Die cooperates. 4 and a 15 should be a double play as long as there's no error. Let's see, 4 and a... No, actually 4 and a 15 is a fielder's choice. Stand corrected, 4 and a 15 is a fielder's choice. 8, and he's an E22. There is no 8 there, but it's not going to be a double play. It'll be a fielder's choice, 4-6 for out number 2. If he was a 3 fielder, it would have been a double play. But all right, now Roger has a trivia question. Let me see if I can pull this up here real quick. Come on, get up here. Come on. Come on, computer. There you go. What was the elephant's name in George of the Jungle cartoon? I have no idea. I didn't have little kids, so I have no idea about some of these cartoons. And that was way back before, way back in the Stone Ages when I was. I don't even know if I watched George of the Jungle, so I don't even know. But if anybody knows, they can chime in. Here's Castillo, switch hitter. 2-10, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-6, and the double die comes up a 1 again. Unbelievable. So first and second, 2 down for Dale Swain, who homered his last time up. 4-3 is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Franco. He's a 2E26. 2 and a 16, he'll get to that. That's a 10. Shouldn't be an error on a 10 on the E26. Nope, just a 12, 17, and 18. So Franco will make the play to finally end the inning. But the run comes in. It's going to be an earned run because of these 2 hits that follow. So it will be an earned run. Charge to Bales. And we go to the top of the 9th now. With the score, 4-1. Favor the Brewers. Joe Carter will lead it off against Higuera. He's going to stay in there. Now, they do have, of course, it's still a safe situation if they wanted to bring in Dan Plesac, but they're going to let Higuera try to finish what he started. Actually, no. Let me see. If Plesac needs work, I'll bring him in. Let me see how he's doing on the replay. See if he's underused or whatever. Yeah, he's underused. I'm going to go ahead and bring him in right now so he can get the save. So Plesac's going to come on for Higuera. We're going to cap Higuera at 8 innings. And we will go to Plesac. Dan Plesac. Plesac 5-6 in the real season with a 261 earned run average and 23 saves. On the replay, he is 2-2 with 9 saves and an ERA of 2.93. 15 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 walks, and 15 strikeouts. So Dan Plesac will be on. He's a -2 hold. And we'll be facing Carter, Castillo, and Jacoby. Carter, Castillo, and Jacoby. 3-2 for Carter, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-6, but of course the double die doesn't turn up for Cleveland the way it did for Milwaukee, so that will be a line out to short. And again, tonight is the return. Is the Demolition League will be back tonight. Miami and Oakland from Miami. roughly 9 o'clock tonight. So we'll be back after a couple days away. Here's Carmen Castillo, 5-4, and that is another ballpark single check, 1-6. This time Devil Die does cooperate, and Castillo gets himself a single. And that'll send up Brooke Jacoby. (5-4), and that's another ballpark single check. This time it doesn't cooperate, so it's a fly to left field, 2 down. Last chance for the Tribe, and it is Corey Snyder. He needs to reach to bring up the tying run to the plate. 4-4, right-hander, and home run chance 1-15. That's a 16, though. That tells you what kind of game it's been for Cleveland. It's still a double, but it could have been a 2-run homer if you just had a 1-15. But what are you going to do? Now, Castillo was not being held. This makes him a 15. There are 2 outs. That makes him a 17. Doubles assumed to go to center, and that's a +2 from Yount, makes it a 19. So the only way they're going to throw him out to play is a 20. They're going to send him, and he's in there. So it's an RBI double. And since Snyder runs less than 13, I hold him at second base. Has to be a 13 or higher in my house rule to move up on the overthrow. But it is going to be an RBI double for Corey Snyder to cut the lead to 4-2. Now the tying run is at the plate, and Tony Bernazard. Snyder not being held on. Pitch to Bernazard, 1-3. That's a 1-4 home run. That's a double die 3. And the Cleveland Indians have just tied this game against Dan Plesac, who didn't close anything. Look at that. 1-3 is a home run chance 1-4. Double die is a 3. Tony Bernazard just took the win away from Teddy Higuera. And now Tom Trebelhorn is questioning his decision to bring in Plesac, obviously. 5th home run of the season for Bernazard. RBIs 20 and 21. We have a tie ball game at 4. We are tied at 4. Blown save for Dan Plesac. And here's Chris Bando. 4-7. Switcher to batting right-handed. That's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Castillo. 3-E-21. 3-11. 3-11 should be okay. G2. That's a 13. Castillo is an E21. There's a 13 right there, so there you go. Another error. E4. And now it's Milwaukee falling apart. Here's Butler. Yankees and Blue Jays are loving this. 2 is a possible balk or pass ball. Possible pass ball on the new catcher, Bando. I'm sorry, on Surhoff, rather. Surhoff's pass ball rating's a 5. No pass ball. Here's Butler. 1-9 for Butler. Look at this. 1-7 is a double. 8-20 is a single. That's a double, 2 stars. And all of a sudden, Cleveland has the go-ahead runs in scoring position with 2 outs, and I think Plesac's going to have to be removed. He just can't get it done. Plesac just unable to get it done. This error is continuing the game. Boy, Plesac only goes 2/3 of an inning. Higuera went 8. I'll fill in his numbers later. 2/3 of an inning, but they're going to have to go to the bullpen, Brew Crew, because Plesac just did not have it, and they don't want him facing Julio Franco. So Milwaukee will go to the pen for a right-hander. Mark Clear is showing overworked and tired. Basio and Krim both need work. I'll give it to Krim. Chuck Krim. So Chuck Krim, your relief pitcher. He was 6-8 with a 3.67 ERA real world for the Brewers. Chuck Krim de la Krim. Will be facing Julio Franco. On the replay, Krim is 1-0 with 4 saves, 2.59 ERA, 24 hits, Okay, I think we're back now. Thank you all for the ones that stayed. Thank you for waiting through that little technical snafu, but I do believe we're back now. All right, so don't know exactly what everybody saw, but Bernazard hit a 2-run homer to tie the game at the bottom of the ninth. Castillo made an error at second base to put Bando on at first. And then Brett Butler just doubled to put runners at second and third. So we took out Plesac and put in Chuck Krim, and that's where we're picking up here with 2 outs in the top of the ninth of a tie game now, 4-4. So Krim to Franco in a clutch situation. That's a 3-10 for Franco. And look at this. Franco has a single on 3-10, but he's anti-clutch. So that hit will turn into a pop-up to short because of the anti-clutch. So Franco makes the final out. And now I have to get the numbers on Plesac. I had to shut down the Strat computer, so I don't know what the numbers were. And actually, it shows I'm on, but it looks a little choppy to me. Hopefully, it'll not act up again, so we can finish this game. Wasn't anticipating the bottom of the ninth, but here we are. Scott Bale's going to stay in there. And this will be his 3rd inning of work. He does have a relief factor of 3, so he's good to go as far as fatigue goes. So here is Mike Felder, bottom of the ninth, tied at 4 against Scott Bales, 4-7. Switch hitter batting right-handed. Ground ball second base X. We are looking at Castillo, 3E21, 3 and an 8. 3 and an 8 is a G3. That's a total of 8 there. E21, second base. There's no 8, so good play. Good play for Castillo. Actually, no, it should have been Bernazard, not Castillo. What am I doing? Bernazard's a 4 and an 8. It's still going to get to the G3. The E22 and an 8 is what we're looking for. And there's still no 8, so it's good play for Bernazard as well. This Xfinity thing has got me, thrown me off here a little bit. All right, here is Robin Yount, 1-6 against the lefty. That's a 1-5 triple. It will be a single for Robin Yount. 1-out single for Yount. He's going to look to get the lead. 5 or a 6 will get him the lead. That's a 5, but that's also a 2. Chance of a balk on Scott Bales. So now I got to go to the Strat computer and figure out what Bales' balk rating is. Because, of course, the cards in 1987 don't show that. So the balk rating, let me pull up the 87 stats for Cleveland. This is Scott Bales, and we'll see what his balk rating is. He has a balk rating of 0, so no balk to worry about. But that means Yount can't get the good lead. And now here's Cecil Cooper. Do they pinch hit with a right-hander is the question for Milwaukee, but I don't know if they have a whole lot from the right side. They do have Bill Schroeder and Glenn Braggs, Jim Pashorek. They got a bunch of guys they could bring in. They're going to bring in Glenn Braggs to pinch hit, and he'll take over as the DH. So Glenn Braggs, a right-hander, will come on and pinch hit here in the bottom of the ninth for Cecil Cooper. And he will stay in the game as the designated hitter. So that's it for Cooper. Cooper went 0 for 4. He is going to be replaced by Glenn Braggs. Glenn Braggs on the replay for Glenn Braggs. We bring up his numbers. Glenn Braggs. In real world, he hit 269, 13 homers, 77 driven in. On the replay, he's hitting 290 with 5 homers and 29 driven in. So Bales to Braggs, 2-3, and that's a single to right field. There's an anti-clutch, but the runner is not on second base. So ironically, had he been successful stealing second, this would have, well, no, there's not 2 outs, so it wouldn't matter anyway. It's a single to right field. Yount, who runs pretty well at a 16, was being held, makes him a 15. Castillo's a 0 arm, but going from right field to third base, you add 2, makes it a 17. So 1-17 they will send him. And of course, Braggs being a 15 or higher, 13 or higher, will take second on the throw. So even if you get Yount thrown out at third, you're going to have Braggs at second with 2 outs. But it's a 1-17, and he's in there. So the single will send Yount to third base and send Braggs to second on the throw. But his run doesn't matter. Rob Deere, I believe they will walk him intentionally. And that'll set up a lefty-on-lefty matchup and a force at any base for Greg Brock. Now a double play can get him out of the inning. And they are going to play back for the double play. They're going to trust the double play. Lefty-on-lefty. 2-11, struck him out. Big strikeout there. Out number 2, and here comes B.J. Surhoff. 2 outs and the bases loaded. Clutch situation, bottom of the 9th, tied at 4. He will lose 2 hits, 3-5 and 3-6 on the clutch. So they have to be careful about that. 3-4 is going to be a line out to short, and we've got extra innings here in Milwaukee. Unbelievable. Brewers had this thing locked up, but the Tribe had other ideas, and poor Dan Plesac blows the save for Teddy Higuera. Chuck Krim will come back out and pitch the top of the 10th, where he'll face Tabler, Carter, and Castillo. Don't know about Bales. He may go for another inning. We'll see. Let's see what Higuera. I lost the computer, so I don't know what Higuera did totally here. I'll do it by hand. 9 strikeouts, I believe 2 walks. He gave up just the 1 run, which was earned. And he gave up how many hits? 1. Actually, he walked 3. Or did he walk? No, he just walked 2. Sure did. All right, hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Just 4 hits. So really a game Higuera should have won, but Plesac, as the old expression goes, crapped the bed. Gave up 3 runs, all earned on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. No walks, no strikeouts. All right, so top of the 10th we go. Pat Tabler, use your batter. 1-6 for Tabler, struck him out. So Krim trying to hold the fort down. Here's Joe Carter. He's 0 for 4. 6-3, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's going to be Swain, 3E25. 3-12, he'll get to that. 3 and a 12 is a G2. That's a total of 15. E25 and a 15, no 15, so Swain makes the play. 2 down, and that brings up Carmen Castillo. 4-9, and that's going to be a pop out to third. So Krim has faced 4 batters and retired all 4 of them. And now the Brewers go to the bottom of the 10th looking to walk off Cleveland. Question is, do we keep Scott Bales in there? They got lefties coming up, so I think they're going to do it. They're going to keep Scott Bales in there. He's going to face Gantner. Castillo, and Swain. I don't know if the Brewers want to bring in anybody to pinch hit and then move them to play second and third. May not have a whole lot of options here. They do have Pachorik who can play third. They can move Gantner to second. If they wanted to bring in somebody really, better than who they have. Gantner's 272 though. Castillo is 224. So they will hit for Castillo with Bill Schroeder. Bill Schroeder will end up hitting for Castillo. Gantner will move to second base in the 11th. But Bill Schroeder will pinch hit here in the 10th. And then Pachorik, if it goes to the bottom of if it goes to the top of the 11th, Pachorik would come in and play third base. If it goes to that. But right now it's going to be Gantner, Schroeder, and Swain, scheduled hitters now. as Castillo is being removed from the game. Bales to Gantner. 4-10, and that's a ballpark blast, but Gantner has weak power. It's a 1-5. It fails anyway, so it'll be a fly to right. 1 down. And now Schroeder, the pinch hitter. And Schroeder hit 332 real world with 14 home runs and just 250 at bats. So he's got some pop. You can see the diamond shots on his card. See what he can do against the lefty Bales. It's a 4-8. We're off Bales' card. Pop out to second. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. He hasn't given up enough to be tired, so that's going to be an out. And we'll go to Dale Swain. 1-4, and that's a ground ball to short, and that's going to do it. So they'll go ahead and cap Bales. That'll be it for Bales. He will go 4 2/3 innings with Scott Bales, and he'll need a couple of days off after this, that's for sure. But he's going to go 4 1/3. And he definitely did his job keeping his team in the game to allow for that 3-run ninth to catch up. So for Bales, let's see, he went 4 2/3, gave up 2 runs. Let's see, I think with these base hits, they're all earned. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. 1 walk was intentional, 1 was not, so that's 2 walks. And he struck out 1, 2, 3. Unofficially, that's what I had before. And we'll have to figure out who's going to come in and pitch the 11th inning for Cleveland. We know who's pitching for Milwaukee is Chuck Krim. Chuck Krim de la Krim, facing Brooke Jacoby. 3-11 for Jacoby, and that's a ballpark blast. It's a 1-5. Double dies a 2. There you go. Look at that. Double die did it again. 3-11 is a ballpark blast. It's a 1-5. That's a 2, and of course he has normal power. So Brooke Jacoby just gives Cleveland their first lead of the game. It comes in the 11th inning. Home run from Brooke Jacoby. Let's get the totals for Jacoby. How many home runs does he have now? For Brooke Jacoby, he hit 32 home runs real world. That was his 6th home run of the replay, his RBI number 24. And the Tribe now lead it 5-4. They've come all the way back. And now here's Corey Snyder. 4-3. Ground ball first base X. We're looking at Brock. He's a 3-10. 3 5. That's questionable. 3 5. No, he'll get to it. G3. That's 6. E10. No 6 there. So he'll flip it to Krim covering for the out. 1 away. Brings up Tony Bernazard. Followed by Chris Bando. 3-9 for Bernazard. That's a grounder to first. Easier play this time for Brock. 2 down. And Chris Bando. 3-5 against the righty is a 1 for a single. Anything else, he lines to second. That'll end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 11th, and it'll be Ernie Macho Camacho on to try to save this for Cleveland. He will come in to try to get the save. Ernie Camacho. Camacho, though, the +6 hold, so that's not exactly instilling confidence. It's a +5 overall. And he'll be facing the top of the order, Felder, Yount, and Glenn Braggs, because Braggs hit for Cooper. So we got Braggs at DH right now. So it's Felder, Yount, and Braggs due up here in the... Yes, Chuck, Brewer fans are barfing for sure. They had this game locked. It was 4-1 going to the 9th with Dan Plesac. What else did you want? But Plesac just didn't get it done. Here's Felder. 5-4. Switch hitter batting left. That is a catcher X. That's Bando. And Bando is a 2-2. So with nobody on base, it shouldn't be any issue. you would assume. 2 and a 17, that's definitely no issue. That should be a pop out or a ground out. 2 and a 17 is a ground out. That's a 10, and he's an E2, so that's definitely not a problem. It's going to be a 2 to 3 ground out on the number in front of the plate. Brings up Robin Yount against Mr. Camacho. Oh, and one die got held up there, so let's redo this. 2-8 for Yount. He's going to fly to center. 2 away, and the Yankees and Blue Jays are loving this, as this will definitely help them out in the standings. Here's Braggs. 1-4 for Braggs. He's going to ground it back to Camacho, and that's going to do it. The Cleveland Indians come all the way back and defeat the Milwaukee Brewers by the score of 5-4. How do you like that? Camacho, a 1-2-3 ninth inning. The win will go to Bales, a much-deserved win for Scott Bales. Get the numbers on Bales and on Camacho for you from the Strat computer. Bales with the win gets his 3rd win of the season. He's now 3-4 is Scott Bales. 3-4 with the win. Camacho picks up save number 5 for Camacho. And as we go to Milwaukee, we'll get Chuck Krim as he takes the loss. Chuck Krim will drop to 1-1 as Krim pitched 2 1/3, and he gave up the only hit and run he gave up was the home run. That was his only mistake pitch. No walks and a strikeout. So there you go for Cleveland, 5 runs and 9 hits, and I believe just the 1 error. 2 errors on Cleveland. Milwaukee had the 1 error there, and 2 errors, so 2 errors apiece for each team. Brewers had 13 hits, so they definitely missed some opportunities to win this game. Left on base, let's see what the Brewers had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 left on for the Brewers. For the Tribe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They left 7 on. And as truth is stranger than fiction, Cleveland won this game real world 5-3. It wasn't extra innings, but they won it 5-3. They won it here 5-4. Go figure. So with the victory, Cleveland, they're pretty much out of the playoff picture, but they can be spoilers, which they were here. Cleveland now with the win improves to 17-26, and if the Orioles lose their game, they'll be tied for last place. Milwaukee with the loss drops to 26-13. Toronto only a half game back at 26-14. Yankees a game and a half back, 26-16. So there you go. Sorry about the snafu on the Xfinity. I'm not sure why it keeps acting up like that, but it does. So we look at tomorrow's game and look at the schedule. And as I said, we're going east to west. So the next stop is going to take us to either Texas or the West Coast, except for Minnesota. We got a game in Minnesota. It'll be the Detroit Tigers and the Minnesota Twins from the Metrodome in Minnesota. It'll be Jeff Robinson for the Tigers against Les Moonstraker for the Minnesota Twins. That'll be the game tomorrow morning. I'm thinking about pushing this up to 8 o'clock instead of 9. I might keep it at 9. I haven't decided yet. But if people seem to like it at 9, maybe I'll keep it at 9. It just depends. All right, so I do appreciate all you guys for hanging out with me, particularly the ones that stayed with me through the technical difficulties. And like I said, tonight we'll be back with the Demolition League. Already got the score sheet all filled out, ready to go. Oakland at Miami. Oakland is 4-3. Miami is 1-5. It'll be some guy named Mitch Spence against some guy named, I think is Max Meyer. I've never heard of either one of them, so I don't know. It'll be game 37, and it'll be from the Miami Stadium, whatever they're calling it these days. So much sponsorship. I don't know what they call it anymore, but that'll be the next game in the Demolition League. That'll be tonight around 9 o'clock. So, again, thank you all for spending part of your Tuesday morning with me. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of Stratomatic Super Advanced 1987 style. The Cleveland Indians come back with 3 in the ninth and a homer in the 11th by Brooke Jacoby. He is one of your players of the game, but to me, the player of the game is Scott Bales, 4 2/3 innings, and he kept the ship level to allow his team to catch up. Although Bernazard, his 2-run homer here, tied it, but that's all he did. He was 1 for 5. So you can take your pick who the player of the game is. But the Fishbowl, that sounds like a good name to me. I'm not sure, like I said, I don't know what they call it. So we'll figure it out. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to Google it and see what they actually call it. But anyway, that's good over from here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And I hope you have a good day. Hope it's nice weather where you are. It's nice weather here, but tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday are supposed to be really rainy and messy. So if I want to I was outside working in the yard yesterday. If I go outside again, today would have to be the day. Although it is supposed to be in the mid 80s, so I really don't like raking leaves and stuff when it's 80 something degrees outside. I'd rather do that when it's cooler. So I may wait until after all this rain comes through, and then maybe on Monday. Saturday or Monday, maybe go back out there after all the stuff is blown around and stuff like that and clean it up. I don't know. All right, until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.